Greetings YouTube, Sega Zombie here and welcome to a pickups video. Yeah, we haven't had a nice solid Sega dominated pickups video in ages guys, and I've managed to bag some really nice Sega bits that I want to share with you guys. Also got plenty of tales to tell as always. Yeah, there's some right stories with some of these. Also I've made some decisions guys. Those of you that are savvy and follow me on Facebook and the like will probably twig that I'm looking to sell my Vectrex collection. Now this is a decision that I haven't taken lightly. It's something I've been thinking about a while. Revival and picking up Frontier really did re-spark my interest in the Vectrex and playing that, and every time I play one of Chris's games I get right back into the Vectrex. It was the same the year before with Big Blue and the likes of that, and yeah, it's sort of like the indie games were keeping me going with the Vectrex. I don't hold much nostalgia for the console. I do remember my parents getting one cheap from Woolworths. I think most of us bagged one from Woolworths. Well, it all gone tits up, shall we say, for the Vectrex. Yeah, so I can remember my parents getting one, but we really didn't have any games. And so there's not a huge nostalgia there for me for the console. I've owned a Vectrex on and off for the last 20 odd years. I've always picked them up. I've always got into them, and I think I've just done the library of games to death. There's some fantastic indie games coming out, and that has kept me sort of like debating whether to keep the Vectrex. But it's getting to the point now guys, especially with my collection, that these things are worth an awful lot of money now, a lot more money than what I purchased them for many years ago, and I'm thinking I can reinvest that money. You know, I wish I had a money tree in my back garden, but I don't, and I really want to finish the Mega Drive full set and get this Sega Wall with the full UK PAL set. That's my goal, and to get there I'm going to need a bit of financial help, and I'm thinking if I can move on certain things. My Vectrex wasn't really being played. It was more of a sort of like an ornament really in the games area of the room. I'd turn it on, have it, you know, blaring off. I love the sound of the Vectrex, but playing the games, no. You know, and at the moment I'm just mad on my Sega as always. I'm loving Spectrum, as you all you guys know, and the nostalgia is really ripe with the Spectrum. So, you know, I'm just thinking I want to get more Spectrum stuff. I'm thinking I want to get a toast rack 128K Spectrum. That is my dream, to own one of those. And there's so much still to get. You know, we've got 150 games still to get on the PAL Mega Drive set. So, you know, this money is going to help massively to fund that. So yeah, I've decided to sell the Vectrex. A really good friend, I'm holding the Vectrex for him. I've sold a number of the games, and a guy I just want to give a massive shout out to, turns out he's local. He found my channel through watching Alex Nintendo Arcade's channel when Alex come round and done a game room tour of the Sega Wall, and I educated him in what was the better game system, the mighty Mega Drive. But yeah, this guy found my channel through watching that. He said he's been watching loads, and he got hold of me on Facebook because I was looking to sell a Vectrex multi-car, and he wanted to buy that. And we took it to Messenger speaking, and he said, "Are you Sega Zombie?" And I was like, "Yes, I am Sega Zombie." And he's like, "Oh wow, I watch your channel, brilliant." And he come round, we had a really good chat, and that is Aidan Stones. What a really nice guy. It's really great to meet people, and it's mad really that, you know, it's YouTube, Facebook, the whole retro community. I'm finding out about people locally to me that share the same passion, and to me that is brilliant. Aidan was a really nice guy. He come round, we had a long old chat about the Vectrex, And also we had a long chat about Sega, and he was telling me about the Mega Drive games he really wants to get to his collection. I said I'd keep a lookout for some of those for him. But a really nice guy. That's Aidan Stones. He bought my Vectrix multi-cart off me. And he jokingly said as he left, give us a shout out on your video. And here you go, Aidan, just for you, mate. Just so you can prove that you bought my Vec multi-cart. So brilliant, mate. Yeah, so funds are going to come in for the Sega Wall, boys. But I have been picking up, like I've promised, some nice little Sega bits that we're going to go through. I'm thinking first off though, we're going to go through charity shops. Now, there's been no car boot sales. The weather in the UK has been horrendous. Lots of rain, lots of wet, cold, windy weather, which is just not ideal locally for me with the car boot. So they've dried up somewhat, and they have for most people, to be fair. The car boot season is well and truly dead. It's over. So roll on next year for those. So I've just been concentrating really hard on more charity shops, looking around charity shops, seeing what I can buy for one, hoping there's retro treasure and things I can add to the collection, and two, things to flip. I've got into this now, you know, picking up board games, certain DVDs, things that I think, yeah, there's some money in that. Not looking to make a huge amount of money, just to move those on, to be able to invest in the retro games that I want for the collection. There's loads of us doing that. And yeah, I've been doing that. Now let me know in comments down below, guys, if any of you are interested. Maybe I can do a separate video, maybe, or if you don't mind, put it in here. Whether you want me to show off some of the stuff that I pick up from charity shops. I know I've had a couple of comments, people wanting to know what board games in particular I've been picking up. So, you know, let me know in comments if you'd like to see that. Maybe I can do a separate video just on charity shop finds and, you know, the wins and the losses. You know, I pick up bits that I think are going to make some money and they don't. I lose money. And there's things that I think I'll give that a go and it does really well. So let me know, guys. So I've again been focusing on board games, toys, just anything that I think has got some value to it. And I have managed to pick up a few games. So first up, we're going to go through charity shop finds. Half my missus, she wanted to go shopping. She didn't want to go in our town centre. She wanted to go to a little seaside town close to where I live. And I was like, yeah, okay, you know how us men are. We're never that keen to go shopping with them. If we're being honest, lads, we really don't want to go shopping with the other half. Their logic, their whole reasoning and logic of shopping is just absolutely, completely different to ours. And she doesn't mind the odd charity shop and things like that, but she soon gets bored of me rummaging through trying to find some treasure. So anyway, we decided to go to this little seaside town, and lo and behold, there were many charity shops. It was like, wow, I picked up loads of bits and pieces. And first up, guys, and this is thanks to my missus, she actually spotted this, I didn't. You know, the one thing I don't do in charity shops, I don't look through clothes or anything like that. I tend to just solely stick for things that I can flip or I'm interested in myself. And she spotted this and she was like, I bet you're going to want this. And look at that, guys. It's a Sonic tie. Look at that. I'm well chuffed with that. That's brilliant. And it was £3. A silk tie there, guys. I'm going to do that up. We're going to wear it. We're going to wear it because it's the only time I'm ever going to wear this, boys. Maybe at Christmas. That would have gone well when I had my office job, wouldn't it? Wearing that. Oh, we've still got the tag. Yeah, so that was from Cancer Research UK and it was £3. So, yeah. Sonic silk tie there. Is there any branding on it? That'll be interesting. St Michael's. Oh, so it's a Marks and Spencer's. Classy. Look at that, boys. Yes. Ha ha ha. So yeah, that was the first find. The first charity shop we went into. And my missus found this. And in that same charity shop, I found a game. Now, it's really weirdly set out this shop. It had loads of DVDs, games, as I say in other videos, all muddled together. But they had like a system in place for the price of their DVDs, games, and a little chart on the wall. I spotted this, and that is Dexter for the PSP. Now, isn't it funny? I've never seen a PSP game in a charity shop. I mentioned this in the last pickups video. I picked one up, and lo and behold, we get another one, and that is Dexter on the PSP. All complete, lovely condition. And yeah, I was like, I'll have that for £1. Got to the counter and the lady said, oh, wouldn't you like, yeah, all DVDs and games are £1, but would you like to add another game because they're 2 for £1? And I was like, right, okay. I had a look, and unfortunately they didn't have any other games. Well, they did, I'm telling a lie there. They had some PS2 football games, which was absolutely, you know, not worth it. And so I just grabbed a DVD for the kids. It was a kids film that I knew they'd enjoy, so I just grabbed that. So this basically cost me 50p. So absolutely brilliant, really chuffed to add that. That's 2 PSP games I own, but I don't own a PSP. That's great. So next up, that's all we picked up in the first charity shop. We went for a few more, and they were like, yeah, really not. One of them was predominantly clothes. A few more were sort of like that knick-knack sort of antique-y feel, and a couple of boutique feeling charity shops. One that was predominantly books, which was really interesting. I really enjoyed going through that. I didn't actually purchase anything because it's an avenue I really don't want to go down. I don't want to start collecting books, but there's so much nostalgia there. I was looking for old Beano annuals and Dandy annuals and things like that, and the memories come flooding back. The one thing I did try and look for was a 1976 Beano annual, just because that was the year I was born, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be a nice little touch. But unfortunately they had 77, 78 I think, and maybe a few before, but they didn't have 76. Yeah, so we was walking along the main high street, and yeah, we stumbled across another charity shop. This one, I can't remember what it was, but again, this one had a similar setup. It had all games, DVDs £1. That weren't buy one get one free in this one though. Everything was £1 in here, and you guessed it, guys, we got some Nintendo Wii just to keep Alex happy. That I talk about something that's Nintendo. But we picked up some games, and a couple of games that have been recommended to me by you guys that I should really look out for, and I was really shocked to see them. Now, this one shop had a lot of Nintendo Wii in there. Obviously someone had taken their whole collection into this one shop. The majority I had, a load of them were like these dance and singing games that I've got absolutely no interest in those at all. But amongst these, there was a few nice titles. And first up, this one was recommended to me by Sega Saturn lad, if I remember correctly, Scott. He recommended to me Deadly Creatures. And what a cool little game this is. This is a great little adventure game. Nice graphics for the time as well. I really enjoyed it. I think this is an exclusive. I might be wrong, but I've never ever seen this game before on any other system. You take control of a spider, a scorpion, things like that, and yeah, it's like an adventure game. Nice environments. I really like the whole perspective of the game. It works really well. Worth checking out, guys. If you haven't, it's all complete. In great condition there, so really happy with that. £1. Again, you're not going to leave them for £1, are we, boys? So we'll put that there. Deadly Creatures. I'm really looking forward to getting into that one some more. Another game that was recommended to me, I can't remember who by, probably Dylan, I'd imagine. But yeah, this was recommended to me by a few people, if I remember rightly. And that is a Sega game, and that is, well, it's Platinum Games, published by Sega, I believe. And that is Mad World.
Sega.
Hello, party people. Let's watch some highlights from
what a game this is. Wow, you guys weren't joking on this one. This really is a great little game. Love the whole graphic novel style, that graphic novel style art to the game. It's all done in black and white, but emphasises on the blood, which was really cool back then, if you remember right. There's quite a few films and quite a few concepts that had this black and white noir style, and the red of the blood is the predominant colour. So yeah, that works really well with Mad World. A little bit sort of like running around, not quite sure what I was doing, but it was great fun. You know, you're running around with some great weapons, some awesome weapons, like a chainsaw on your arm. Yeah, great, love it. Mindless violence. I'm in on that. That's great. That's right up my street. Really enjoyed the quick blast I've had on that. It's just been Spectrum, guys. It's been so much Spectrum that I've got to get my teeth back into some of these consoles. I really have. The Wii, the kids are still playing it loads, but even that's died down with them a bit with the Mega Drive Mini. And they are loving that. That's on a lot in the living room. That really has been a massive hit in my family, the Mega Drive Mini. But yeah, Mad World, I don't think the kids can play this one. It's an 18. So even though my lad's going to craze me, I think that's a no. It is pretty gory, even though it's cartoon. That's a little bit much, I think. But there's Mad World, £1. And then finally a game that I believe it was Eddie that told me about this one. Yeah, it was Eddie. A game that includes the original LucasArts point and click adventure. So I was like, wow, I've got to get it. And that is Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. Now, I do believe this was a multi-format release. Is this the same game that's on the Xbox? On the original Xbox? I've played it on the Xbox, loved it on there. I believe this is the same game or very similar. I've not yet had a chance to play this yet on the Wii. I'd imagine it's going to have pesky motion controls, which might be a bit annoying. But the main reason I wanted it was for apparently the point and click game is in here as an added bonus, exclusive to the Wii, I believe, which really looking forward to playing that again. Loved point and click games on the Amiga back in the day. So yeah, Indiana Jones, all complete. I don't know if I showed you, I think I did, didn't I, guys? All complete. Absolutely chuffed to pieces with that. So yeah, the charity shops were a big success. Got loads of stuff, which I'm going to be able to flip on and things like that. It's a few board games like I've mentioned. And to get some games to add to the collection, it's never a wasted trip to me. But that's not where it ended. I stumbled across a little shop called Play and Exchange. Now, there was a massive cooperative supermarket in this town. And they have a big foyer with loads of little independent stores. And there was this one little shop that caught my eye solely because it had loads of like old vintage toys all set up on tables outside the shop, and it was called Play and Exchange. I went in, had a look, and it was a kind of a mixture of a toy shop, come joke shop, come, you know, costume shop. It had all of that, and then a mixture of it sold DVDs, games from all the generations. And they had a lovely glass cabinet. I'm going to put loads of pictures up, guys, here, there and everywhere, just showing you guys this shop. And it was like stepping back in time, it really was. A great guy that worked in there, chatted to him loads, and he pointed out to me some of the retro stuff he had. You know, because I was like, oh, you've got this, you've got that. You know, he had GameCube, Wii, he had some Xbox, PlayStation 2. But then in this big glass cabinet, he had some Sega, and I said, now you're talking. I got really excited, guys. I said, now you're talking, mate. You've got some Sega. He first of all showed me what was in the glass cabinet, and he had all of these Master System games. Again, I'll put some pictures up and show you guys. I got really excited, and I took a load of pictures, and I sent them to the admin guys in Retro Realm, because they're always interested, and I know a lot of them are Master System collectors. And yeah, there was some real beauts there. There was Phantasy Star, there was Wise, loads of RPGs, for the Master System, as well as some other games, but predominantly the standout titles were the RPGs. Some really nice games. Now, Master System, there is only a few games. I'm not going for a full set on Master System. Only a few games that I want to collect for the Master System at the time. At the moment, anyway, guys. And I thought, you know, there's a couple here that I'm interested in. I'll take some pictures for the guys to see if they're interested in any. And then I got chatting to him. We was chatting for ages. He's really good. He's been in the business for a long, long time. And it turned out that I recognised him back in the day when I had my shop. I started in the markets, and he was like, him and his wife were like my main rivals at a local market we used to do. And unfortunately, my store grew bigger and bigger, and they ended up going elsewhere, because I can remember in the early days when I used to set up, they used to come along and just buy all my big titles, all the best stuff I had. And, you know, and they were always asking who my contacts were, how I was getting hold of this stuff. I kept that all firmly to my chest, guys, as you do. And, you know, they used to each week, I used to make my money just off them. And but in the end, I grew too big, and they obviously couldn't compete. Ever such friendly people. There was no real negative rivalry there. It was all positive stuff. And they must have moved on to a different market or things like that. And lo and behold, it was the same guy. I hadn't seen this guy in sort of like 15 years, you know, and it was mad. We had a good old chat. And yeah, then he said, you might be interested in these then if you like Sega. And he pulled out a massive stack of Mega Drive games. And I was like, mate, I said, I adore the Mega Drive. I collect the Mega Drive. I want to take a look at them all, but I'm probably going to have them all. And there was a couple there, 2 or 3, that I was like, I ain't sure, you know. I didn't have my iPad with me. I had my phone. And it's on my iPad that I've got my little app that I keep everything on there so I know what it's got. Because this old mind of mine, I just can't keep up with what I've got and what I haven't got. And he said, look, mate, it was getting late in the day. My missus was getting really irritable. I dragged her around numerous charity shops. It was her day off and she was getting tired. And he could sense that, and he said, look, if there's anything you want here, I can put it aside for you. If you come back tomorrow, say if you're not in by 11, I'll just put it all back out. So I was like, happy days. So I got him to put a big pile of games aside for me. Ones that I'd thought that other people would be interested in, and 2 or 3 that I thought, yeah, I'm definitely interested in those. And I was thinking, going back, if there's a big bundle I can put together, I can do a nice haggle with this guy. So that's what we done. We left it at that. And I said to him before I left, oh, do you take stuff in? Because I noticed he had a lot of PlayStation 1, PS2. And he said, yeah, I'll have a look. So I have got an absolute ton. And I've been saying, guys, for ages, you know, for absolutely years, oh yeah, I've got all this stuff. I had boxes of stuff that I just have sitting here that I've picked up in bundles, car boots, charity, you name it. And it's stuff that, you know, I haven't put it on eBay, I've not put it on the groups, or I've put it on the groups and there's just not really no interest in it. And it's that sort of stuff, you know, the sort of filler titles for PS2, PlayStation, all of that kind of stuff to take the next day. When I got back, was chatting on the Retro Realm admin chat, and they asked me the question, has Phantasy Star for the Master System got its manual? And I said, no, it's not got a manual, but it's got a hints book. But they were like, no, that can't have a hints book. The Master System version didn't have a hints book. There was hints books for the Mega Drive versions. Well, when I got home and I checked on in the Sega Wall, I noticed that there was another game that he had that I didn't, and that is Phantasy Star 2. Haha. So they were saying, well, it's got to be to Phantasy Star 2. And that's the hint book to that. So I was like, right, well, I need Phantasy Star 2 and I want that hint book. So I'm going to see what I can do to get that hint book, blah, blah. Right, let's move on to the next day. Got up bright and early and we ventured out. Now, it turned out that no one really wanted the games. They said some of them were a good buy for the price and things like that. But everyone had the games. I took my iPad with me this time. I took loads more pictures, close-ups, whether games were complete, things like that for people. And while I was waiting, I was looking at the games that I needed. And behold, out of 20 Mega Drive games, there was 5 out of them 20 that I needed for the Sega Wall, guys. I was absolutely wow. So, while I was waiting, I was going through my lists, and here we go, guys. Let's get started. I'm waffling loads here, guys. Let's get into these Mega Drive games, these 5 titles that I need for the wall. And first up, we've got FIFA 97. Yeah, it's got to be done, guys. Got to have all of these games to finish that whole set. It's in absolutely wonderful condition, this. It really is. In really good condition. So, FIFA 97. We all know FIFA, don't we? Not much more to say about that, but really chuffed to add that. And then another sport title. And this is one that I did think I had, but it turns out that I've got a Japanese version of this, not the PAL UK one. And that is Olympic Gold Barcelona 92. And again, this guy that owned these originally, he said that he got these off one guy that brought in his whole collection. And these are absolutely mint. Everything is in really great condition, guys. Except that the guy obviously didn't like hang tabs. Ugh! He's cut all the hang tabs off. Pretty much the majority of these games. But they are in glorious condition. Absolutely brilliant condition. So that's Olympic Games. I might actually give that a blast, actually, because going and seeing Dave, Retro Dave, and playing on track and field and hypersports, I'm actually, and you know, Blast and the Spectrum, I'm actually getting into these like track and fields type of games, these button bashers. I'm loving them, so that's going to be played definitely. And then we move on to this Phantasy Star 2. We're going to go on about that one, guys. Now, the tale behind this. Now, the guy that owns the shop is a lovely guy, but he obviously is somewhat under the thumb. He kept explaining to me that it was his missus's shop, and you know, she had the final say in anything, and I made a few jokes and we laughed about that fact, but he pretty much runs the shop these days, even though it's hers, apparently. But this is all relevant to the tale, guys. The Phantasy Star on the Master System, I would have bought that if it was complete, but it didn't have a manual. He told me the first day that it had a manual, but it wasn't in good condition. That's why it had the hints book. It turns out this was the hints book, guys, and it's the hints book for Phantasy Star 2. Now, he had this all sealed. Every game was, the more valuable games were all sealed in a bag, and he had £58 on Phantasy Star with no manual, which, you know, that might be a bargain. I'm not really sure. I'm not that clued up on Master System, but I wanted the book. And I said to him, I explained to him, look, that book, this book here does not go with Phantasy Star. It goes with Phantasy Star 2, which I do want to purchase off you today. And he was like, oh, right, okay. Well, my missus has put that with Phantasy Star, and she's put that with that game because there's no manual in it. And I was like, right, okay, that I can understand the logic there, but that does not, that hints book, this hints book quite clearly states Phantasy Star 2, and that is not going to help sell Phantasy Star. It needs to go with Phantasy Star 2, which here it is, guys. Here's Phantasy Star 2. And it's quite clearly states on there, included 110 page hints book. Right, okay, well, I can't separate it without ringing my missus and finding out. And I was like, that's cool. Ring your wife, please, and tell her that I want that hints book. And there's a lot of games I want to buy today. See what she says, you know. We can come to some type of deal on it. I want that book. Now I know you've got that book, I want to put that back where it belongs with Phantasy Star 2. Now, Phantasy Star 2, he had at a great price. And considering that it's complete as well, so it's even got, which I love this sort of thing, it's even got, someone's cut out a little Phantasy Star 2 like cheat there, which I think is absolutely, I love that sort of thing. So someone's taken the time to cut that out of a magazine, glue that into the case, which I think is brilliant. Again, the manual is in really nice condition. Because like fighters, RPGs as well, the manuals can be somewhat thumbed over time, but this is in glorious condition. And then, lo and behold, we have the map. So I was over the moon with that. But knowing that hints book was there, I had to have that hints book. I wouldn't let it drop. I could see the poor guy was getting a little stressed, had a bit of a nervous disposition, so I didn't want to push him and be too bolshy, you know. I could see he was getting a bit flustered. And he said to me, look, if you give me some time, I'll go and phone my wife. And I was like, right, okay. I said, well, I have got to go into town. And also, I've got this big bag of games. I know you mentioned that you do a trade. Would you like any of these? So then he spent ages rummaging through those. He picked out 2 or 3 games and he said, take the rest to CX in the town, please. If you would like to go into town, go do that. And I will phone my missus, see if I can get hold of her and see what we can do about the book. I was like, right, okay, you know, I could see the chap was genuinely getting a bit sort of like uneasy, you know. I didn't want to push it. I said, that's fine, mate, I'll go in town. And we'll come back to this tale because it's a long one, like I said it was, guys. But I actually went into the town, went to CX with a big bag of PlayStation rubbish, and I traded in my first ever load of shit at CX, and it was great. Got into CX, they took absolutely ages. I think this is why I've never done it. There was no one else in there. It's a small little town, so it's a lovely little CX. Some real nice stuff in there, actually. I was really impressed with what they had for the size of it. But they just take an absolute age. They were humming and hawing over every little mark on every disc. And I thought, well, I've bought from CX before. And the games I've bought, the discs have never been as immaculate as they were wanting these ones to be. And these are on newer games, let alone old ones. But hey-oh, you know, whatever. But I got enough trade together to get this. And it's a game that I've really been after. It tends to go sort of like between 10 and 20 quid on eBay. I've missed out on it a couple of times on eBay. But this was a great price and it cost me nothing. Because none of this stuff in the bag owed me a penny. So I traded it all in. Some of these games I was getting like 10 pence for, guys. Really low end prices. There was a big bundle of Xbox 360 games that he wouldn't touch. The CX wouldn't take, so I kept hold of those. But we traded the PlayStation rubbish for Punch Out, which was £10. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Like I said, it cost me nothing. There's the receipt of all the stuff I traded in. But yeah, in fantastic condition. Do you know what? I didn't check the disc. Let's check that disc. Yeah, it's got a few marks on it. But yeah, no. Joking aside, really, really happy with that. Again, I've not had a chance to play this yet. I'm itching. I have played the Super Nintendo version of Punch Out. Absolutely loads. Ready for my 18-bit Wars videos. Been loads and loads of playing of that game. Absolutely adore it. So was eager to get the Wii version. So really chuffed to add that to the collection. And it was free. Technically it was free, guys. Didn't owe me a penny. So once we'd done that, done the CEX, walked right back across town, back to play and exchange. Wow. This is a story and a half, guys. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Oh, that's better. What a tale, hey guys. Well, he said, well, me and my missus have looked into that hints book and we're willing to separate it from Phantasy Star and let you have it with Phantasy Star 2. But the book is worth a lot of money. We've checked it on eBay and I thought, oh, here we go. Yeah. And he's like, oh, it goes for 20 odd pounds on eBay. And I was like, right, yeah, okay. And he says, but we're willing to put it back with Phantasy Star 2 for the Mega Drive for £10. And I was like, happy days. I'm happy with that. You know, let's get this deal done. So we got the Phantasy Star 2 book with the Phantasy Star 2 game, and finally they're back together. You know, I was doing a run and commentary to the guys on Retro Realm, and they couldn't believe this story. They really couldn't. But I wanted to share it with you guys. Some of the legwork and hard work that had to go into getting this, but I am really pleased to add Phantasy Star 2 along with the map, the instruction manual and the hint book into the Sega Wall. Yes! Can't wait to give some of these RPGs one day a play. One day I will, guys. So sticking with the theme of RPG, another game that I could have sworn I had this one in the collection, but I don't, and that is Sword of Vermillion. And it's got, again, in lovely condition. I'm not sure if this one came with a map originally. I don't know. I'm not an expert on RPGs, but it's in glorious condition. And do you know what? Guys, worn me out telling you guys the story, let alone going through it again. But this one's supposed to have a hint book. But yeah, I didn't even go there. That one's gone into the Sega Wall, guys. So another RPG added. And then a game that I was really excited about, because I played this years ago on the Amiga. Now, it was called something else on the Amiga, and I knew I should have written this down because my mind has gone blank. I'm sure Cine Steve can tell me in comments what its original name was on the Amiga. But that is The Legend of Galahad. And it's a game it's one of the EA titles that I looked in the Sega Wall and thought, I've really got to add this to the Sega Wall, because I really enjoyed this on the Amiga. It's a great sort of action, platformer, adventure style game with a bit of RPG element to it. And I can remember really enjoying this game back in the day. So really pleased to add that to the collection. It's a solid average game. You know, I've had a quick glance on it, really enjoyed it. Another game I need to get my teeth into, and again, the condition, guys. Look at that. In absolutely fantastic. The manual is in brilliant condition. These EA big chunky book manuals, oh, they're god awful. They don't keep very well. But yeah, no, all in glorious condition. Really happy with it. And I'm just buzzing, absolutely buzzing, that we're talking Mega Drive again, boys. It's been too long. My God. And we've got some nice, tasty, lovely Mega Drive games to add to the Sega Wall. The Sega Wall's loving it. But we've got two more games, two Master System games that I picked up. One I'm not sure if I'm going to keep, but for the price I got it from, and again, this is from the same shop, he had some really nice Master System games in there. Like you can see in the pictures, guys. But there was only two I was interested in. Both of them because I enjoyed these games when I was a kid, and it was complete nostalgia for me. And one of them I probably won't keep. I might flip to try and recoup some of the money on the bundle to get these at an even better price if I can do it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But that game is Ultima 4. And I checked on eBay, and this goes for a good price. So I don't know, I'm in two minds, guys, whether to keep it or not, but it's in absolutely glorious condition. Look at that manual. Master System, they're trickier to find in good condition. This is absolutely, the case is like new. The actual inlay has not got a single stain on it, and a lot of these Master System games, apart from a couple of them, were in absolutely fantastic condition. They really were. So yeah, there's the book. Look at that. Absolutely bang on that. And again, it came with the map, which is the all-important part with these RPGs. To have them complete, if they had a map, you want the map, don't you? So there you go, guys. There's the map. And it's got, because it's in like a different language, the guy has actually written in pen the name of the places, which I know some people will scoff at that and not like it, but to me, I love it. To me, that's history. That's nostalgia. That's someone that's loved this game, put the time into this game, and they've added their own bit of history to this game. I love it. Personally, I love it when people write codes and their high scores and things on things. And the map is in fantastic condition. Been a treasured game in someone's collection, and it's now going to be treasured hopefully in the Sega Wall or in someone else's collection if I decide to flip it. I'm in two minds, guys. I get a bit like this with some of the Master System because I'm being really regimental and strict with myself. That the Master System, because I'm just buying all of the Mega Drive, I'm going to be more fussy with the Master System. Just keep the games I really enjoy and the nostalgic games, the good games. Yeah, so I'm not sure on that, but I was buzzing, guys. It had to go in the collection, it really did. So there is Ultima 4, and a game that's so nostalgic to me. And I was watching a YouTube video. I didn't realise this got a specky release as well, so I was really chuffed with that. And yeah, that is... I've played this game a lot. I actually got my Master System converter out, plugged that straight into the Mega Drive, and this was the first game I played, and that is Bank Panic. It's one of those simple concept games that is just, you just can't put it down, guys. A simple process. You basically have 12 doors, you're guarding a bank, people would knock on that door, you go to the right doors, and you'll get either a villain, someone looking to hold up the bank, or someone genuine that wants to put their money in. And there's different characters that you can do different things with, like there's a guy that has loads of hats on, you can shoot the hats off, and if you do it in the time limit without shooting him, he'll deposit money. And then there's people that are looking to deposit money but they're held hostage by a bank robber. And yeah, it's absolutely glorious little game. It's a high score game that just goes and goes. I absolutely adored it, and I played this all evening. I played it for ages, lost track of time playing it. Really great game on the Master System. And it went into the bundle and I got it for an absolutely brilliant price. Again, it's all complete. This one, the manual is seen a little bit more wear, but still really good. And yeah, I'm really pleased to add that to the collection. So 2 Master System games. Wow, I love it. Love it getting all this Sega. So it doesn't stop there, guys. We have a few more to continue with. Oh, but what a tale of that shop. Oh, I love it. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about early on, perhaps I should have followed on with this one before I got onto the shop. But as I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, how YouTube, Facebook, the whole retro community really has opened up more local people that have the same passion as me and the same love. And what's mental is a guy that I actually went to high school with, and you know, we were quite good friends at high school on and off, and I haven't seen him in over 20 odd years, over 25 years, and he's seen me on Galaxy Sega and Retro Realm, and he got in contact with me. This was a couple of months back, and Clint, it's great. We had a long old chat on Facebook. Then I went round to his, go and see his collection. He's got a shed that he's converted into an awesome games room. He's boarded out his loft. He's got endless amounts. His collection is epic. He's got some really, really great stuff. And it's everything. It's everything from right from the micros on every format, every system, all the way up until today. His whole house has a theme. You know, you go into his dining room, and he's got bookshelves with more modern systems on. His living room, he's got his PlayStations and his Wii U, Switch. And you know, he loves his games, and it was great. We chatted loads, and yeah, we've kept in touch, which has been really, really good. He's come round, he's come and visited the Sega Wall, and you know, we've always said, look, if we get any doubles or anything like that, or pick up anything local, we'll help each other out. Well, he got in contact with me and he said, I've been watching your Spectrum videos and what you've been putting on Instagram. with the Spectrum. I've gone up in the loft, dug out some Spectrum games, which I'm going to show them in a different video. But he gave me a load of Spectrum games. Thank you so much, Clint, for that. Absolutely over the moon. I had a right blast playing some of those, which I will show off in a future video. But I had some Mega Drive dupes that he needed, and he had some Mega Drive games, and these weren't dupes neither. These were out of his collection, and he knows I'm going for the full set. And he was adamant that he wanted me to take these games. I felt really bad. I was like, really, you know. I traded him some dupes. I done him a good deal, I think. I gave him a load of games. And, yeah, he gave me a couple of games, which he had a few games that I needed, but they didn't have manuals. And I was like, look, I'm not going to take your games if they ain't got manuals, mate. And I don't want to take your games, you know. He's that friendly. He was like, oh, no, I want you to finish your set. Have it. And I was like, no, Clint, no. But I was happy to take these ones, and we done a nice deal. And first up is a Blue Spine, boys. Yes! God, we've got to get a Blue Spine, didn't we? It's Worms. Not one of my favourite games, Worms, but it's a Blue Spine 2 to UK. Yeah, been a while. We ain't said Blue Spine since Superman, have we? It's been a while. Few weeks, I know that. But yeah, in great condition, all complete. Absolutely chuffed to pieces with that, Clint. Thank you so much, mate. And then the final Mega Drive game off Clint. Again, I haven't got many of these sport games on the Mega Drive, which is ridiculous, really, because I can remember my brother, when he was growing up, he got a Nintendo Entertainment System, and the only game that I really played with him loads on that was Blades of Steel, the ice hockey game. And then from that day on, or that moment in time on, me and my brothers and my mates, we loved ice hockey games. We played them loads, all through the 16-bit era especially. And whenever a hockey game come out, we were always after them so we could play multiplayer, and we loved hockey. Really did love the ice hockey games. And that is NHL 95. So I'm really pleased to add an ice hockey game into the Sega Wall. I know I've not got that many. I've got an awful lot of hockey games to get. And again, this is in absolutely fantastic condition. Awesome, Clint. Still got the original HMV price tag on there of $24.99. Still even got the original security code stuck to the bottom of it there, which is mad. But yeah, really pleased to get that. You can't beat a bit of two-player ice hockey. Awesome. So yeah, you know, that's what's so great about this. YouTube, Facebook, all of it, social media, bringing people together, making a smaller world. And my God, it's absolutely mental that I'm meeting people local that, you know, I can stay in touch with, and we can chat away retro, which is absolutely brilliant. So loving that. That leads us on nicely to the last couple of bits that I'm going to show today, and that's some eBay purchases. A game that I needed. I was watching this one on eBay. It was an auction, and I put a bid in, and someone sort of like towards the end, I put a cheeky bid in of like a £5 or something like that. And as you do, it goes all the way up until the last hour or the last few minutes, and then other people will bid. Someone bid on it, it flagged up. I so happened to be on my iPad when it flagged up saying you've been outbid, and it only had a few moments to go. And I was like, right, I'll put another cheeky bid in. I bid it up, and it ended up I won this game for a tenner all in. So I was pleased to pay that. It's complete, and that is Crackdown on the Mega Drive. A really early game. I believe this was a launch game on the Mega Drive, if I remember rightly, or it wasn't far from being a launch game if it wasn't. A game I never really liked. Nostalgia wise, I remember playing it. I believe a mate had it. I didn't actually own the game, but I can remember I never really got into this one. Weren't my cup of tea, this game, which it should have been, but something about it just weren't my thing, really. But really chuffed to have it in the wall. And it's another one off the list, guys. So Crackdown for a tenner off eBay, which I thought that was a great price. And then finally, this was more of a late night purchase. I do this, you know, you just see it and you think, oh, I'll have that. And this was buy it now, I believe. I didn't pay a lot for it. Again, it was a great price. And that is Capcom Classics Collection on the original Xbox. I thought I had this in the collection. But no, I haven't got it. And you know, there's some great classics on here. You got 1942, 1943, 1943K, Bionic Commando, which that was what I wanted to play. After playing the Spectrum version, I really wanted to play the arcade original of Commando. I really did. And I thought, oh no, I've got the Capcom Classics collection on the original Xbox. No, I didn't. So I kind of went on eBay, found it, so I can get to play Commando. It's got Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, which I love that game, great game. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, Gunsmoke, another great game. Legendary Wings, Mercs, the list goes on. Street Fighters, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Trojan, Son. There's loads on there, guys, absolutely stonking. Really pleased to get that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was about $7.99, something like that, but a great price. I'd seen that it had gone for more and I thought I'll have it for that price. And yeah, I'll have a blast through. I love compilations. It's from when I was a kid. I can remember every birthday, Christmas, I always got a compilation on the Spectrum. You know, that was the time when, in between me buying my budget games and some of the bigger releases maybe, when I had a paper round and that, I had to wait for Christmases and birthdays if I hadn't got a copied game out of the playground off a mate. And that's when I'd get some of the bigger games on the compilations, like the In Crowd and the Hit Squads, and Giants was one that stick out in my mind, and you know, all these great compilations with great games, and I think that's stuck with me. I see a compilation like that and I just have to have it. I love it. So yeah, I've added that to the collection in the ever-growing OG, as people like to call it nowadays, OG Xbox, original Xbox release. So there we go, guys. There is the pickups over the last few weeks. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you've stuck with me for all my tales and my waffling. God, my throat is hurting a bit after them tales. But anyway, please leave me comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or a thumbs down if you don't. You know, I'm not fussed either way. And please subscribe to the channel for future content. I'm Sega Zombie. Until the next time, goodbye.